funniest Trump videos I've ever seen. A protester is asked why Trump is a fascist, as he and a friend are holding signs that say Trump is a fascist, and you have to hear this. And if you haven't yet, make sure and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave me a like. So let me give you a little update. If you guys have seen it this weekend, there are massive protests from the left about Trump and Elon. What exactly? Nobody knows. It's just whining and complaining. But these two protesters take the cake, because this just really shows what these people really think about what they're doing. We're gonna dive into this. Take a look. And guys, make sure and watch to the end, because there's a great surprise. Take a look.
So what makes Trump a fascist? What makes Trump a fascist?
He does things without
Yeah, talk loud. I don't have my mic on.
I'm not really good into interviews.
Sorry?
He just does everything he wants, and not following laws, or he's a convicted felon. That's all I know.
But your sign says he's a fascist, and I'm just curious what makes him a fascist.
One of the things is that he's trying to control the media, right?
Say that again?
He's trying to control the narrative.
How is he trying to control the media? Doesn't every president try to control the narrative?
They try to control their own narrative, but one of the things that Trump's has done, for example, is the renaming the Gulf of Mexico, and then not allowing the Associated Press to come into the White House. Basically, trying to get.
What are your feelings about him renaming the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America, when a majority of the Gulf is, in fact, on the coast of America as opposed to Mexico?
I mean, it's kind of pointless. People.
Is it pointless?
Yeah, people call it the Gulf of Mexico.
Don't you think it could have a positive tourism impact, potentially?
Tourism has been down heavily.
So I don't want to get into a tourism debate. My question is, the sign says the fascist Trump regime must go.
Yeah.
And so I'm just curious what makes him a fascist. You pointed out that maybe something about his relationship with the media, he wants to control it, but
yeah.
Again, you're calling him a fascist.
Yeah, well,
what makes him a fascist?
One of the core tenets of fascism is creating an enemy, right? And blaming those problems on
What's
the enemy.
that?
Oh, yeah,
So
neighbor gave me, yeah.
Who gave you that?
The people that gave me the sign. It's a free sign.
Oh, someone gave you the sign, and then they gave you the handout. So are you reading it now to try to answer the question?
Yeah, but I mean...
Can I see that? Can you hold that up?
I'm
just curious.
You can have it.
I can have it?
Yeah, you can have it.
Alrighty. So where did you get the sign?
All the way in the gatekeeper's house.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just pretty cool.
And that's another one? They gave you two pieces of paper?
Yeah.
They have that one too?
Yes, you can have both.
Oh, okay. So what brings you guys out here today?
Just because I saw people were hanging out with people.
same thing as everyone else, executive overreach.
I don't even know what to say. I think bless your heart is the first thing that comes to mind. I want to be compassionate and when I go over this stuff, because maybe somebody's a bit on the spectrum. Maybe they're socially awkward. Maybe there's substances involved. And I hate saying that, especially the last one, because people always accuse me of that. And I'm somebody who literally, for physical reasons, can't do any of that. So I try to always stay away from that. But God bless, look, these two are probably the nicest people in the whole world. But I feel like what we are seeing, this looks like a classic case of two things. Number one, being an NPC. And number two, these poor boys, they just want some puss. They can't really give a single coherent answer as to why Trump is a fascist. The first one could barely put a sentence together. And look, I'm a talker. Not everybody's a talker. Not everybody's good at communication. I completely understand. I'm completely compassionate with that, right? So again, I don't want to be too mean, but if you're going to be out there and say somebody's a fascist and should be removed, don't you think you should at least know why you're there? And then at the very end, he basically says, oh yeah, whips out the talking points. Guys, and we have seen this time and time again recently. A lot of them, I'm not saying all, but a lot of them allegedly are paid from Soros. And before this, they are given their signs. They are given their signs and their talking points. That's what they have. And we've seen this at several protests. That's why a lot of these protesters, they start exactly at a time, like 8 a.m. and then exactly at 12 p.m. because that's when they're getting paid. And look, even if some are getting paid, maybe they do believe in what they're saying, whatever. But the question is, why do you believe what you believe? Why are you saying he's a fascist? And at the end of all this, what he basically says is, well, somebody gave me a sign back there, the gatekeeper, and I came out here because this is where all the people were. I feel like what I'm looking at, and the other guy at least kind of tried to say, and then the other kid, he was saying stuff like, well, he renamed the Gulf of Mexico. How does that make him a fascist, right? And then the guy was like, well, I don't want to get in the debate, and he kind of steered back to his original points, which were good, and he says, well, he tries to control the narrative in the media. Everyone wants to try to control the narrative about them. What that means is they're trying to control the story that's being told about them. Because I know firsthand, as somebody being on social media, people can make up the story about you and it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. Furthermore, that whole thing about, well, they said the AP can't come in. The AP, as well as the other legacy medias, have lied and lied and lied to a dangerous point, not just on him, obviously, and Elon Musk and the rest of them, but to all of us about everything forever. Just the simple fact that allegedly, maybe in our healthcare system, all it takes allegedly to fix most things, not all, but most allegedly, maybe be light, sound, vibrational frequencies, and that's kept from us, things like that. But they've also said, this regime has said, hey, we want to let in independent journalists. Why have they never let independent journalists into the White House? And as somebody, I don't know if I'd consider myself a journalist, but somebody who does stuff like this, I fully support that, because nobody who is 50 and under, really at this point, it's only boomers or older people who actually believe the media. We have seen it time and time again, them lie to us. But even him saying that, well, controls the narrative. That doesn't mean he's a fascist. So they go out there and they don't even know why they're there. And what that tells me is, I think the men on the left, and guys, listen, I've been with all types of people. I'm 40. It took me up into the last few years to piece together the psychologies of what happens with people and why people act the way they do. And now I don't know everything. I'm not claiming to it. It's not saying that I'm perfect at everything, but there are some things I know. I used to date a lot of liberal artists. Something I stay far away from now because I have seen how toxic they can be. I'm not saying doing art is a bad thing. I'm not saying every liberal is a bad person, especially if you're a man. Many of them guys don't believe in what they're saying. These kids don't even know what they are saying. What they are doing is they see there's a lot of people, there's a lot of angry women, and maybe on some level they can wiggle their way in getting close to those women, act like they have the same talking points because they want somebody to date and ultimately to get some puss. And I'm sorry, but that is a lot of how this goes. Many of these men have never taught social skills. They've never been taught confidence. They've never been taught to stand in their masculinity and learn how to be real men. And so then they see, this is where the women are. This is where I'm going to go. And maybe, just maybe, if I'm around them, I parrot what they say, I can get some. Are they ever going to admit that out loud? No. And why? They're not aware. They don't, most people I have learned, and this is so sad, don't do work on themselves, especially the left. They don't have any sense of self-awareness. These are people that basically have to have somebody tell them what to do. They are a slave to an authority figure. And to them, you don't question the authority figure. You just do what the authority figures tell you to do without any thought. And funny enough, that's exactly what happened and what got the people in Germany in trouble that they are saying that he is. And it's weird because they don't see they're a snake eating its own tail. They cannot see hypocrisy. They are just being manipulated by their emotions, by the same media that they are saying is bad, that Trump doesn't want to let them in. The same media manipulating them. They are sitting there defending, but they don't even know how to defend it. My wish is, look, I understand, because again, I was an artist, I date a lot of artists. There are all types of people on the spectrum of how you fit into feeling masculine or feminine, and being an artist doesn't necessarily make you feminine or masculine. However, what I want to say is I think everybody should learn about where they sit within their own masculine and feminine, and what that means to them, and how to not be toxic in it. Let's just, at this point, let's all not be toxic. My God, what do you guys think of this? What do you think of my take? Tell me your thoughts. Sound off in the comments, click the plus sign, hit notifications, and like the video. Anything helps, and I will see you in the next one, and we can laugh about stupid stuff. Bye, guys.